Genesis chapter 18 verses 20 to 32. Let not my Lord grow angry if I speak. In those days, the Lord said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grave, that I must go down and see whether or not their actions fully correspond to the cry against them that comes to me. I mean to find out. While Abraham's visitors walked on farther toward Sodom, the Lord remained standing before Abraham. Then Abraham drew nearer and said, will you sweep away the innocent with the guilty? Suppose there were 50 innocent people in the city, would you wipe out the place, rather than spare it for the sake of the 50 innocent people within it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to make the innocent die with the guilty so that the innocent and the guilty would be treated alike. Should not the judge of all the world act with justice? The Lord replied, if I find 50 innocent people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Abraham spoke up again, see how I am presuming to speak to my Lord, though I am but dust and ashes. What if there are 5 less than 50 innocent people? Will you destroy the whole city because of those 5? He answered, I will not destroy it, if I find 45 there. But Abraham persisted, saying, what if only 40 are found there? He replied, I will forbear doing it for the sake of the 40. Then Abraham said, let not my Lord grow impatient if I go on. What if only 30 are found there? He replied, I will forbear doing it if I can find but 30 there. Still Abraham went on. Since I have thus dared to speak to my Lord, what if there are no more than 20? The Lord answered, I will not destroy it, for the sake of the 20. But he still persisted. Please, let not my Lord grow angry if I speak up this last time. What if there are at least 10 there? He replied, for the sake of those 10, I will not destroy it. Most of today's reading deals with Abraham appearing to bargain with God. Why appearing to bargain when it seems clear that is what is happening? Don't forget that God knows everything even before it happens, but Abraham doesn't, and this conversation gives God the opportunity to teach Abraham about God's love, justice, and righteousness. Abraham is worried that he might offend God when he says, please, let not my Lord grow angry if I speak up this last time. Husbands and wives do a lot of bargaining and generally don't offend one another because they love one another and pretty much know how the other will view the negotiations. This is the same relationship between Abraham and God. Notice the patience, understanding, and love God has with him. Notice the willingness of God to put aside punishment to save a few innocent people. The Lord passed before him, and proclaimed, the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. In God's time and in God's way the guilty will be judged. You will recall from last week's reading the Lord and 2 angels appeared at Abraham's tent to announce that 90-year-old Sarah would give birth within a year. Could this be a reward for his righteousness? After the announcement the men continued to Sodom and this time took Abraham with them, but why? God was about to demonstrate his justice, and power used against sin. God's justice prompts him to bring judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah because of their extreme wickedness. As children mature, the oldest child is the first to learn the rules and consequences of disobeying them. The younger children watch and benefit from the older child's mistakes. If you see the older child break a rule and receive an appropriate punishment, the younger child is not likely to repeat the older child's wrongdoing. That is exactly why Abraham was invited along. He, like the younger child, saw firsthand what violations of God's commandments looked like. I think of these verses as a show and tell. Abraham will certainly tell the rest of Israel and the world what happens to people who don't live by God's commandments. Sodom was a city at the south end of the Dead Sea and was widely known for its wickedness, yet in God's just punishment he allowed the innocent, Lot and his family, to leave before destroying the city. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.